Okay, good. All right, I'm going to start this one then. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully I'm in it. I'll just squeeze in. I don't know.
In it.
That should be fine, I think.
Let's see.
All right.
How do I get here?
Hello, hello.
Your channel. Here we go. Join. Okay. Are we in? Are we in it to win it?
Did you get me a drink?
No, I didn't.
There's 9 people. There's 13 people
See,
on.
I told you.
We're gonna get started after I get a drink, I think.
Okay.
I need a drink.
Go get a drink.
Why don't you chat up our guests there?
Chat them up. That's not the right word.
Is that not the right word? What does that mean?
Look at me. You can see my pajama pants.
You can?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello. Let's see here. Hello. So, can you guys hear us all right? We're doing a podcast. Can you guys hear us all right?
Make sure. I think I'm in that, yeah. All right. I'm ready. Is it your turn to go first? Should we introduce ourselves like
It is.
usual? Are you ready?
Wait, are you recording the podcast already?
It's recording, yeah.
Okay, so hi and welcome to. You've already done the balance and stuff?
Yeah, I didn't touch anything.
Okay. Here we go. Start over again for the live YouTubers. Hi and welcome to the Postmodern Family Podcast, the Postmod Pod. This is episode 5, and I'm Felipe.
I'm Lillian.
And we are live from England, and as usual, we will begin with the icebreakers. And after the icebreakers, we will do our 3 stories each. So let me just, why don't you chat them up a little bit while I find these icebreakers.
Sure. You guys might be wondering what we are doing, because normally on this Postmodern Family channel we do reaction videos, but we have started a podcast called Postmod Pod, and you can find it on somewhere on YouTube. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts and etc. I think I need to bring my mic closer. Careful.
And I don't know if it's
carefully.
my audio through my headset, but that was just a bit too loud.
I was too loud?
On mine.
You're too loud. Yeah, that
Yeah.
does look like...
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, we're ready with the icebreaker. Thanks for that space filler.
No problem.
Now, the next question is, the zombie apocalypse is coming. Who are 3 people you want on your team?
Okay,
Who are 3
anyone,
people
right?
you want? Okay, actually, they're saying turn our volume up. So I think that thing's gonna have to
volume.
become closer. Yeah.
You have to come closer?
That thing's gonna have to come closer.
Huh.
So, we're gonna fix
I hope
the
that
audio.
everyone will be able to see.
Wasn't there a way for us to connect our a special mic to that? Maybe we're just exploring the ways to go live and to record a
That's
podcast.
gonna have to be it.
That's just gonna show my ugly mug.
I'm gonna lean in.
Oh, you're gonna lean in.
I'm gonna lean in. That's what
Okay.
you're supposed to do, right? There we go. I'm kind of in, see?
Okay, show more of it. Whoa, you're gonna drop. Just
No, it's
calm down.
fine. It's not gonna drop.
You're gonna drop the iPad. Is that better, folks?
Cool. I think that's better for them, yeah.
Are we gonna have to
I'm
be?
really leaning in here.
I think we're gonna have to be louder. That might mess. This is an experimental setup, people. Okay, so just.
Okay, I think that's
Just-
a little better for me. Okay.
Oh no, Jordan Peterson is live streaming right now as well.
We can't compete with him. Get off here and go watch him.
Calm down, Peter. I'm part of this team too.
Anyway, let's
So the
leave-
zombie apocalypse. You have to pick 3 people from your team. Obviously, you can't pick your spouse because
Why not?
All right, we'll pick your spouse. That takes 1. So then it's 2.
You have to
2.
procreate.
Okay, go.
So then 2 other ones, and it could
2
be
other
anyone
ones.
alive
Anyone
or dead.
alive or dead? Who is it? Who is there?
to be a real person, not
I
a
think this
fictional
is just too
character.
low. I'm gonna come in here. And we're just gonna do. That's gonna block me,
Yeah, that's
isn't
gonna
it?
block you.
Here we go. Look at this. Here we go.
How is that better?
That's much better.
Can you see the comments on that screen or no? I don't understand why. Oh, hit the chat button there. What happens?
No, it's
Top chat. Yeah, hit top
it's
chat.
the chat's there. All right, it's not.
I
Look,
can't
it's all right
see
there.
it.
It's right there.
What about live chat? There's a button that says live chat.
Okay, so here we are. So who are your two? Come on.
Do they have to be real people or like fictional characters?
Fine, go with fake or real. It'll indicate something personally about you.
Okay.
Based on your choices.
Look at your hand is blocking my face over there.
What are we
And this
discussing
is not
today?
a good
Okay.
angle of my face.
Leighton asked, what are we discussing today? You will see. We'll do 3 stories. I'll pick 3 stories, and Lillian will do 3 stories, and we will discuss. And we shall take comments at any time because we will be live through the whole time. Now,
Okay, don't move too much because you're moving the camera every time you move the bench.
don't worry about it. Just go.
Your main man pulling. Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, I guess because I don't know very many people alive who are really good at life skills, so I would say Robinson Crusoe because he probably can build things in the wild.
Yeah.
And then it'd have to be another woman to pair up with him. So
Oh, I see.
I would say
Think of that.
my friend Natasha because she seems very fertile in having
But she's got
11
a
children.
husband.
Well, this is obviously. Oh, you're saying if that then I don't know what I'm saying then. Okay, another one. Let's do a 20-some-year-old high fertility attractive woman who's not going to lure my husband
A
away.
hypothetical will be okay. I see. Not gonna lure me away. Okay, right. You got your 2. Okay, here we go. So,
Well, you have
since-
3. You don't have to choose your spouse.
I know. But look at this. The zombie apocalypse will not last forever. So it's not like these are going to be the last 4 people on Earth.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to repopulate the whole civilization.
All right, I missed the question.
So it was just the zombie apocalypse is upon you. Who do you pick on your team? 3 people. That's it.
Okay, I'm going to change my answer.
There's no redos and backtracks and redos. Okay. So I'll pick Jocko, the former Navy SEAL.
Okay.
Clearly you're on the team, so there's just one space for one more guy, and that one more guy is probably I don't know.
Jason Bourne.
No. Yeah, the fictional Jason Bourne. There it
Yes.
is. The fictional Jason.
Which
Bourne.
one? Which one from? Oh, just Matt Damon's
The
character.
Matt Damon character.
Not the other one. What's his name?
I don't know. No. Forget Jason Bourne. I will pick Jason Stedham. So the British
Oh yeah.
actor.
The hitman guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Okay, that's the icebreakers. Okay, so let's jump right into too quiet. They still say.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think we're gonna have to fix that at some point.
We're already using that thing for that thing over there.
Yeah, I know. Is there a way here in the settings?
Mute microphone?
No,
That's
not
the only
mute microphone.
option.
That's the only option.
Yeah. Uh-oh, you have to hit the same button again to get rid of
Yeah.
that.
At least we can hear you guys now. Okay, so some people are saying they can hear us. Some people it's too quiet. So that sounds like you just need to up your volume. Okay. Okay, so first story from me comes all the way from our homeland in the United States. And, whoa, that's one of your stories. Sorry. Confused me. Sorry, the first story is not from the United States. The first story is about Boris's statements at the G7. They're very curious statements he has made today. All appearances are off the cuff, which is his usual style. So let's see how we're getting on here. Let me pause this. I had lowered my volume all the way because I was live. So here we go.
I think that is what the people of our countries now want us to focus on. They want us to be sure that we're beating the pandemic together, discussing how we'll never have a repeat of what we've seen, but also that we're building back better together, and building back greener, and building back fairer, and building back more equal, and how shall I, more in a more gender neutral and perhaps a more feminine way. How about that? Apart from anything else. So those are some of the objectives.
What an idiot.
For us at Carbis Bay. I think that is what the people of
Okay, so did everyone get that? Let me jump back into the YouTube Live and lower my volume. Okay, so Boris there is on record as saying that the Great Reset is real. That after the pandemic, we're going to rebuild civilization in a better image than we found it. And that image will consist of gender neutrality, environmentally friendly, and more feminine. More feminine. What do you think that means?
I think he was thinking about the men being more feminine. That's what I think. Because,
okay.
like, he doesn't, because he's a man, he doesn't want to impose, he doesn't want to be too masculine, toxic masculinity, so I think he was just thinking in his head that he should be more feminine, or men should be more feminine. Because I don't think he's saying that women should be more feminine. Not at all.
So how do you build back something in a more feminine way? Go ahead, just tell us.
In a feminine way?
Yeah, in a more feminine way.
Is that gonna work? This is where...
Here we go. You just get Lillian. I hope that audio is even better.
This is the worst angle of my face.
I'm trying to get the audio.
It should just go back over there.
No, that's too far.
Oh. All right. Well, how do you build back more feminine? I don't think he was actually saying that we should build back more feminine. So
okay.
I think he had a mishmash of words, and I think some slogans were stuck in his head, like the future is female, and he just started like blurting out things that sounded.
So
like
you think
that.
it was just gobbledygook?
Yeah.
We'll alternate this from my face to Lillian's face.
All right, as long as I'm not blocking over there, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think the audio is the most important piece. So
Cammy G says, I think Boris had a stroke.
I think he was just trying to mutter a series of catchphrases that would make him seem amenable to the press and to the people listening to him there. He wasn't speaking to the common man, he was speaking to the G7 leaders and to the university elites and to the press. And I don't think he says what he means or means what he says.
Yeah.
So, what a joke. What an embarrassment. Okay, now, thanks, Paul. Let's see if any of our people have any comments. Let's see here. What do we say? Does Boris want Angela Merkel to be more feminine? That would be actually an impossible magic trick to accomplish. Let's see. I think Boris had a stroke. Okay. It's strange world we live in. Now a more feminine broadcast, Paul Barker says, because you're the fun. Okay, so enough of the feminine broadcast. Now you're going to get me. More of me. Look, guys, you're going to get more of me. All right, here we go. Next story is story 2.
Do you need to explain to anyone what G7 is? What the G7 is?
No, the G7, the common man knows what the G7.
What does it stand for, though? Just global?
The Global 7, I think.
I don't know.
Global Elite 7. Okay, that was story 1. Story 2 does come from the United States and is about an angry parent. That's the worst angle for me. Here we go.
And you thought I had a choice.
You thought the second story comes from the U.S. It appears to be a school board meeting. This is the tweet. Angry parent at school board meeting comments on a new sex book which is being introduced to 5-year-olds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so let's see what she has to say about sex education for her 5-year-olds.
She came to your school when she procures bids for ISU for construction and came to your school and spoke to your staff for 2 straight days. Why did she do that? This is why she did that. This is why she did that. To make sure that when our students want to know whether or not they have a vagina or a penis, they have pictures from your staff to be able to help them.
From your
They
staff?
don't have enough sex. They don't have enough anal sex. They need adults to tell them how to masturbate. And what I call that is just... So here's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds. And you have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up? Because the time's not really up. I don't believe you, Mr. Wiley, that my time is up. But I'm going to end with this. I'll close with this, because this was too much for you. I can tell right now. And that's why you're cutting me off. The last time I said, you know what? Critical race theory. Little girl in the back was laughing every single time Megan said something because white people oppress black people, right? Isn't your principal black? Isn't your mayor black? Now I would like to introduce to you.
So where's this from? Where is this?
This is, I can't tell from the accent, but it seems like Midwest.
Okay.
It doesn't say. So there's some school board meeting in which I guess a bill has been passed to authorize the material that has been previously been used for 10-year-olds to pass on to 5-year-olds. And she showed pictures of the material and described the material that was already in distribution for 10-year-olds. And that distribution described how to masturbate, how to have anal sex, etc. And so that bill that she was objecting to was now being discussed for, or is now going to be taught to 5-year-olds.
That's crazy.
So my question is, firstly, as an educator or former public school educator in the U.S., did you have any run-ins with sex education?
No, I didn't.
Mm.
I was really grateful because I taught in an elementary school, which is primary school, up to age 10, and I was a music teacher. And the school that I was in was predominantly middle to lower class Christian population, Catholic actually. So I never felt any problems just teaching as you would for music, the classical Mozart and Beethoven.
How about when you were in the school system? At what age did you get graphic illustrations of genitalia?
That was in middle school, so that was age, that's 8th grade is 12, 11 or 12? 11, something like that.
Okay.
And it was really awkward. Like they would show the screen and a diagram of what parts
For me, it was PE, physical education, and not until high school. So this is mid-90s, so about 1995, 1996. And they had that old projector style with the images that rotated around a carousel. And they showed pictures of penises, pictures of vaginas, and pictures of how they would be together that way. And at the end of that lesson, she had a big fishbowl of condoms. And said, yeah, take what you need. You don't have to pay for it. It's all free. So that was so it seems like the education, the sex education has gotten younger and younger. And now it's hitting in the U.S. at the 5-year-old level. Which, is it the case that it's already at the 5-year-old level here?
It was going to start in September.
To our audience members from the channel, at what age are the
children learning about sex education?
Yeah, what age are children learning about sex education?
I just know that the statutory RSE was supposed to come into effect September 2020, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. And that did include lessons all the way down to age 4. So
sex education lessons.
Yeah, sex education lessons in terms of body parts and and family makeup. How many dads?
What's normal?
Moms,
etc.
What's normal?
So clearly, this is now hitting in the U.S. and the parents seem to be massively Hello, folks. The parents seem to be massively pushing back. 13, someone says. I doubt it. I think it's younger. So the parents seem to be pushing back valiantly, it seems, sort of rebuking the superintendents, so much so that the superintendent was squirming and saying, I'm uncomfortable with this discussion. And
Yeah.
she's rightly saying, if you're uncomfortable, can you imagine my 5-year-old? Or can you imagine my 10-year-old? So what is this overall agenda about? What do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, someone says, Flirty Girl says, nursery age.
Hmm.
My friend's daughter left her job because of it.
Wow. So that's like age 3 in nursery age.
Yeah.
Under 4.
What is that? They're showing penises to 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So what do you think the broader agenda is? What's your theory? Why push sex education? Firstly, why do they claim to push it? But secondly, why do you think they really are pushing it? Because what they say is the reason isn't really the real reason.
Mm-hmm. So I think the reason that they say is just so that they think that it's preventative for casual sex or pregnancies, teenage pregnancies. They think that the younger someone knows about something and learns about something, that the more that they can resist it.
And have studies proven that to be true?
The inverse, actually. So studies have shown that...
The more sex education you give kids, the more sex they have.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Isn't that ironic? Isn't it ironic? So it's the opposite case. So the hypothesis is that if you give sex education to children, they are going to be... Yes, they are available to order.
These mugs.
These mugs are available to order. They're a bit pricey, but worth every penny because they go to fund the channel and what we do here.
So that they're on teespring.com/store/the Postmodern Family.
Yes,
Something like
and
that.
to all our podcast listeners, you can buy them too. Okay, so clearly the hypothesis that the more sex education you give, the more chase or the less sex they're going to have.
Not even less sex. It's just about preventing conception. So preventing pregnancies. So they don't care if you have a lot of sex. That's why they're giving you condoms.
Oh, I see. So they're trying to prevent pregnancies. So isn't it the case that I've heard teenage pregnancies are going down and down and down?
Mm-hmm.
Is it teenage pregnancies or is it teenage births? Because
I don't know. Who knows?
Because abortion could easily be handling
yeah.
the reduction of birth
That's
in
right.
teenage daughters.
That's right. I don't know which one it is.
Okay.
I think but what has clearly been happening is the increase of sexual promiscuity.
Yeah.
So more
and I think that's
sex.
how they initially brought it into the curriculum. They said if you educate them, they're going to be more careful and they're not going to have as much sex because they see that diseases are rampant, pregnancies are risk. They see all the real world damages that could happen if you have sex. So they'll choose not to.
Yeah, but they're actually not teaching the real world damages of anal sex. So unfortunately, they're wrong in that aspect. They're hiding that part of it.
Okay. And then my hypothesis for the real reason, which might have been conjured up long ago and lost in the midst of time, is that the more you debauch the children, the more they grow up to be debauched adults, the weaker they are morally in their convictions and their courage. So in fact, enemies of a country have easily and quickly latched on to the strategy of debauching their enemy society because everyone knows that a man addicted to porn, a man addicted to masturbation, a man addicted to sex is a man that will not jump out of the rampart and march into the no man's land and charge the enemy. And so it is directly correlated that a sexually debauched society is a society that is weakened from defending its freedoms. And so that's why China has incurred into Hollywood. Let me block this guy. Let's see, hide user from this channel. They're just some really rude people. Okay, so what do you say to that theory?
Well, I wonder if, I don't know if it's about attacking or other countries attacking other countries, but I think it's about the growth of the government. So the people in power want more power, and you get more power by having more people rely on you. And you know, people know that the more families are broken down, then they rely more on the government. So women who get pregnant outside of wedlock or marriage, then they end up having to, not most, but many end up having to rely on government to give them money so that they can survive because they didn't secure a husband beforehand. So I think it just creates a bit of the family unit has broken down, and therefore the government has to step in and give out more handouts, and therefore its power grows. And so I think that it's not necessarily country against country. I think it's possibly that the people in power want more power.
But there's no. So you're saying that this is just another instrument in separating children from their parents?
No. This is about people relying on the government.
Okay. How are they relying more on government by getting sex education?
Because then they end up having children out of wedlock because they're increasing the amount of
time. So you're saying
that
government want more children out of wedlock so that more people rely on government handouts?
Yes.
I think that might be partly true.
But that's also true for the men on the side of men, where so many men have been in financial ruin because of things like divorce and.
I think it's probably the more sensible non-conspirational conspiracy. There isn't there a modification to conspiracy that makes
conspiratorial?
Conspiratorial. The non-conspiratorial explanation is simply that people who engage in debauchery want others to engage in debauchery.
Okay, that's true.
Sin begets sin. And so the person who's debauched cannot fathom or cannot countenance the presence of people not sinning around them. They must be sinning in the same way. So it's a blend, I think, of reasons, all which amount to the weakening of society. So you have people who are just indulging in sexual debauchery, who want others to indulge in sexual debauchery, all the while weakening a country. That's my theory. Anyway, let's get to my final story. Story is actually our good old friend, former Prime Minister, the lovely Theresa May. The lovely Theresa May is actually saying something that I agree with. It's a very rare occasion in life, but so I figure when I found it, I might as well play it. It's very good. Here we go.
We will not eradicate COVID-19 from the UK. There will not be a time when we can say that there will never be another case of COVID-19 in this country. Secondly, variants will keep on coming. There will be new variants every year. If the government's position is that we cannot open up travel until there are no new variants elsewhere in the world, then we will never be able to travel abroad ever again. And the third fact that the government needs to state much more clearly is that sadly people will die from COVID here in the UK in the future, as 10 to 20,000 people do every year from flu. It's incomprehensible, I think, that one of the most heavily vaccinated countries in the world is one that is most reluctant to give its citizens the freedoms those vaccinations should support. We will not.
Okay, so she's clearly critiquing the government for its position. Critiquing the position which is, oh, we can't open up until we have controlled all the variants.
Is that really what they're saying now?
That's what, well, look, they've delayed the quote. It's so stupid to call it Freedom Day. I hate calling it Freedom Day because it's as though freedom is a gift from government and we should be thankful for it. And so government is giving it back to us. That's just all bollocks to me. So she's saying, look, she's critiquing the fact that it's now been leaked or purposely leaked that there's 0% chance that June 21st will be the day which we come out of all the measures. And that's going to be pushed to July at some point. And so it seems like in Parliament she's critiquing that, saying the premise of that move is that we can't get freedom until all the variants are under control.
Right.
And she's rightly saying there will be always the next variant. There will be the
Of
next
course.
variant, and so to think. So she's saying she's actually doing a better job than the opposition government. Let me turn this light off that I accidentally turned on. She's doing a better job than opposition government, I think, than Keir Stammer, or whatever his name is, who's just his opposition has been go harder, Boris. You haven't gone hard enough.
That's.
You know, it's like that lockdown hasn't been long enough.
Is that opposition?
Or you need to mandate vaccines rather than just give them the choice. So it's been a harder authoritarian critique.
Do you think Theresa May's clever? Does she know that?
Do you think this is her way back into the prime ministership?
Like, does she? Maybe she somehow gauged the population, realizing that she needs to, come back a little bit and push back against the government measures and all this stuff, and that people will love her for it.
99 Red Pills has been making a lot of good comments tonight. He says it's probably the best argument she's made for 20 years. May is normally awful. So, I think, yeah.
Someone has advised her well
So,
on
yeah,
this move.
She might be, I don't know, I don't think based on her Brexit performance that she stands a chance of coming back. But, never say never. But, what I find interesting about that critique was that she's right that we'll never get a handle on the variants, but she's wrong in saying that the vaccines are the ticket to freedom.
Well, that's what the government has been saying. That's what she's saying, is that the government
It's being contradictory. It's being...
Yeah. The government has said before the vaccine is our ticket out of lockdown. They've said that, like, word for word. And then the vaccines have been rolled out, and now they're like,
we can't.
You still have to wear your mask, you still have to socially distance, you still have to abide by all the rules, and then I don't know if some of them even have to get a negative test, I don't know, before traveling.
Yeah.
So they say, I've been listening to the book by Laura Dodsworth, A State of Fear.
Yeah.
You guys need to read this book if you haven't already. Your very own British journalist, Laura Dodsworth, and she has said that the government has clearly continuously moved the goalposts, right? So they say the goalpost is 3 weeks, and then we'll lift the lockdown, right? 3 weeks to flatten the curve, right? And that was over a year ago. And then they moved it over to, the vaccine was the next thing that I remember, the major thing. Then the vaccine was rolled out, and then now they're like, we need to stop.
And so the new goalpost is control all the variants?
I think so. I don't even know.
No.
It doesn't even make sense because you can't. You can't control the variants.
Yeah, and it seems that this is shortening the time we have before the next COVID season.
Yes.
So COVID season begins, August?
That's what they say. I don't know.
So it'll be fourth wave. We'll be back in lockdown.
No, it's got to be more like September, October. August is usually still warm, I think.
Shawnee, what are you drinking? So that was my last story. I think that it's appalling to think that we should be thankful for the gift of freedom from government. That's just not English. Not only is it not American, but it is not English. From a big tradition of Magna Carta, all the way to King Henry VIII, we have a long tradition of wrangling back our freedoms from despots who would rule us dictatorially. And so to think that authoritarian rule on the justification of COVID is justified, and that we should be thankful for the crumbs of freedom they give us is absolutely absurd. Okay, so that was my 3 stories, and we're about the halfway point, so you might as well... Oh no, I have to hand over my phone.
Yeah, so I can read my...
Okay.
I figure next time we will just live stream on that one over there.
As well as record.
It'll just record it
the
automatically.
Video. Oh yeah. And it'll run the audio.
Yeah, straight to the thing.
Why didn't we think of that before?
I thought of it, but I didn't want to create a new link and confuse all of our viewers again. Yet again. Okay, so my stories.
Man, that's a brilliant idea.
I know.
2 with 1 stone, and here we are struggling.
Next
Oh.
time. So
As
this
I said,
one.
it's our first time doing this,
Exactly.
so be patient.
All right, this one is going to be cringe. I'm just going to warn you. It has to do with the guy, Jeffrey Toobin, who masturbated on Zoom and then got fired. Well, he was welcomed back on CNN, and they
Oh, he was a CNN correspondent.
very cringely explained what happened. He's there sitting there looking at her. So I'm going to try and play it for you guys. And here we go.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Back to the
Hello,
beginning.
Allison. Let's bring in CNN Chief Legal Analyst Jeffrey Toobin to talk about this and more. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed.
I feel like we should address what's happened in the months since we've seen you, since some of our viewers may not know what has happened. So I guess I'll recap.
Wow,
I'll do the honors.
recap it.
Can you
How
believe that?
embarrassing.
Yourself.
Okay. In October, you were on a Zoom call with your colleagues from the New Yorker magazine. Everyone took a break for several minutes, during which time you were caught masturbating on camera. You were subsequently fired from that job after 27 years of working there. And you, since then, have been on leave from CNN. Do I have all that right?
You got it all right. Sad to say.
Okay, so let's start there. To quote Jay Leno, what the hell were you thinking?
Well, obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much, and it was something that was inexplicable to me. I think one point, I wouldn't exactly say in my defense, because nothing is really in my defense. I didn't think I was on the call. I didn't think other people could see me.
You thought that you had turned off your camera?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
I thought that I had turned off the Zoom call. Now, that's not a defense. This was deeply moronic and indefensible. But I mean, that is part of that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly continue to do, working on a new book about the Oklahoma City bombing. But I am trying to become the kind of person that people.
Okay.
Whoa. So he's trying to come back. Yeah.
So what's the point? What's the point of the story?
Well, you had
talking
mentioned
this story?
actually, I think it was in story 1 where you're talking about how men are addicted to porn, masturbation, and that weakens society. And it just, I think a lot of people are addicted.
Oh yeah.
And therefore, it weakens our whole society. And including these people, like representatives on CNN. But anyway, what was he? I mean, clearly he said he wasn't thinking, but why would you then take a break in the middle of, they were just taking a break between conference.
Yeah.
Why?
The thing, yeah. So the thing is it's clear that every man in the fallen condition that he is born in is born with the propensity to sexualize every woman he sees. There are mental mechanics that go on, images of what would she look like naked, what would she look like if this was happening.
So you think he was thinking of that of one of his colleagues?
It's very well possible. So you have 2 choices to make about yourself as a man. Either you let those mental mechanics that you're born with rule you and govern you and lead your thought life, or you govern them and you curtail them and you manage them. And so I think the advent of pornography and the advent of the sexualization of society has signaled to men that it's okay to run wild with those mental mechanics. And so he probably, saw someone on the call that he imagined in a certain way and decided to take care of business.
So do you think it was handled properly? Do you think that he was fired, like he said, for 7 months, and that now he's back? Do you think that was the proper move?
No, I think Well, yes and no. I think if he would have said, I failed miserably, I have sexualized my mind, and I repent of that, and now I will try to I have committed to reforming myself and not sexualizing every woman I see, and I've stopped masturbating altogether. And if that was handled privately with him and his bosses, then I would consider allowing him back. But to put him back in a public post, to ferry him in front of the camera again and confess all this,
It's basically saying it's okay.
it's making light of it.
Like
The lady wasn't even awkward about it when she described it.
No, exactly.
She was just very humorous.
And so I think that's where we've got in the point of this of our society, where she's basically saying this is normal. Sorry you got caught out. It was bad timing, but this is normal. And I don't know if that's really what we should be encouraging in our society.
Yeah. So it's just another symptom of a debauched society. There's my halo again. Sorry guys, I'm that saintly. So